water service regulation. Water service regulation, if you have reference from the county government hapa, it may emphasize what the county government is supposed to do in water service provision. And now as I talk, tunaona hii si mzuri hii, kuna shida hapa. We are now talking of Water Act 2023. Na tayari ministry imeshatangaza consultation. Chula, you have that schedule for the consultation. Yeah. Kuna mikutano mingine inakuja countrywide, kwa sababu ilionekana hii ipinduliwe sasa so that it is still it's able to meet its purpose. So there's a Water Act 2023 ilienda bunge kule ikarudishwa kwa sababu haikuwa imeenda public consultation, haikuwa imeletwa kama tukulivyo hapa. So kutakuwa na mikutano yenye itazunguka nchi ndio muambie hii sheria mpya itakuwa namna gani. Tunaendelea na masomo. Lakini I think I want to emphasize here, the Water Service Regulation 2021, it recognizes two important things. One, that water is both an economic and a social good. Economic and social good. It means nobody should be denied water. That's why we are saying it is social. Nobody, even the poor of the poor, must get water. And WASREB, that is one of the reasons why WASREB exists, is to protect the interest and rights of consumers. That even the poor of the poor must be able to get the water. Na mutaona tukifika mwisho kwa tariff, venye bei ya maji ilivyo, mutaona how we take care of that. And then two, this one is very important here. That katika kuunda bei ya maji, the application of the most efficient pricing model, ensuring full cost recovery. I think I want to emphasize full cost recovery. Na hiyo ndio WASREB inachunguza. Kampuni ikiweka maombi yake inataka kuadjust tariff, tunaangalia na hizo vitu mmeongeza huko, are they actually justified? Many of the things we cancel. Na wengine wanasema tulikuwa na madeni hatujalipa, acha tuweke hapa, tunasema hapana, ile sababu kufanya huku lipa hiyo shauri yako. Tunataka ingine ya hii hapana, wewe hujafika hiyo kiwango, kwanza fikisha hapa namna hii. That is what we do as the WASREB, so that the pricing is the most efficient, yenye ina balance on both sides. So this is a summary to my students, but I want to emphasize, coverage ilikuwa nimesema we at 60%, haionekani mzuri, but I wanted to emphasize something here on what we call water losses. You may not see it, but at the moment, nchi hii, as much as we have a lot of problem ya maji, we are losing 45% of the water produced. Tukishaitoa pale na tukishaisafisha, where 45% inaenda, haijulikani bwana. Na ukifanya hiyo 45% ikuwe ni pesa, inakuja 10.5 billion. That's what we are losing annually. So you can just tell me, and you know, what 10.5 billion can do per year. If we were to put 10.5 billion in this region, coast region, hata sio hapa the coast region, it would bring a lot of transformation. So then why are we saying we have not been able to give everybody water while we are losing about half? And I hope Tavevo in your presentation, tafadhali, show your stakeholders how much you are losing. Ndio pia wasaidie kujua imagine inaenda wapi. You see? I think it's very, very, very important. So this is something we need to work on at 45. Huwezi tuma mtoto akauze mayai stoko mayai 10 alafu nakuletea bei ya nini pesa ya mayai 5. Hapo lazima utatuanga yeye. Haya. Now to my future generation pale, this is the way we are going. The population is increasing. We were in the urban area. Let's just focus on the urban area. The rest is the total. We have about, by 2030, we'll be having about 46 million. And by 2050, we'll be having about 65. Simple. Tumeenda mambo ya majimbo, county government, and every county has a capital city. If you look around here, you'll see many people are coming, moving around the capital city. I know, years. There's a time I had a lot of interest around here. So I know how small it was, and I can see how it has grown. And the same applies to all other counties. So what do people are moving towards the urban areas? But ile maji iko urban area, itatosha to serve those people. If there's going to be a challenge, then we are exposing ourselves to magonjwa kama cholera or water-related diseases. So to me, this is a threat. And there's a reality, kwa sababu tupende tusipende, 2030 tutafika, na hata 2050 tutafika. And when I look around, I think all of us will be around 2050 to see this picture. So if we don't organize it well for us, we shall be the same victims. Wakati huo, because we shall be advanced in age. Yeah, wash. Hata COVID ilipokuja tulikuwa naambio, ulisikia ile advertisement walitoa kama wewe uko sijui 58 hakuna usikaende hata kanisa. I think ilikuwa little bit discrimination. Ilikuwa nasema wazee How we were bad to go to some places. Eh? So now, if we don't do anything here, we shall be in that category. Now, we have to listen here very carefully because ndio kila mtu apate. My colleagues tried to say where the money comes from. We call them the traditional sources. Again, to develop water infrastructure, there are three sources. There's no fourth source. If there's a fourth one, then you call it innovative. Ya kwanza is budgetary allocation. Ile pesa serikali na wakisoma budget, alafu nasikia pesa ya maji ni kiwango fulani. Hiyo pesa ya serikali ya budget in a lot of competition. Lazima iende education, lazima iende health, and it is never enough. Number two, the other source is from donors. Ndio tunaitanga transfer. Donors inakuja na condition. Na kuna wakati nchi hii tuliumia sana, if you can recall, kuna wakati tulikuwa napata pesa from IMF. IMF waliambia nchi so that Kenya can continue to get money from there. What did they ask the government to do? Mnakumbuka the retrenchment? Look at the people who died. If you look at the study that was done around then, most of the people who were victims of the retrenchment, they were dying between 2 to 3 years after retirement. Because people were just forced into retirement. We do not want, again, to be handled by that. And we cannot design our life at tutakuwa tukitegemea hiyo pesa sana. Nonetheless, it is good, lakini hizo condition kali. And kama ungekuwa kwa current affairs, you can recall at one time, sijui ni World Bank, IMF or World Bank, walikuwa wamepeana pesa kwa, I think Ministry of Education, alafu wakapika kelele, wakasema hiyo pesa yao imekuwa misused. What did Kibaki tell them? Alimwambia nyinyi msikafikirie hii masomo ya free ni hiyo pesa yangu tunatumia. Kibaki returned the money to them. Kaambia mnapiga kelele kama mtu hawezi soma Kenya hii without your money. He wrote a check. Wakanyamaza sasa hizi. So again, we cannot rely on that source. Then there's a third source now, mambo ya tariff. And I want to emphasize tariff. Ile pesa unalipa ukipata bill mwisho wa mwezi, please pay. That money is very important in trying to make sure wale mwenye hawana, your neighbors who don't have water also get the same. And then there's a fourth source now, and that is where now cooperative banks come in, and that's why they are here. Kampuni za maji ziliundwa like public limited company. It means they are legal entities, they can sue, they can be sued, and they can borrow. Chairman na board. Tavevo ikiwa na good cash flow, positive cash flow, si manager pale anaona the way you are banking. Ukienda kaka kuambia 50 million atakupea tu nothing. Si anaona? Na hiyo 50 million utapelekea watu kijiji fulani maji na watafurahi, na wakipata maji watalipa, si ndio? Halafu utarudi tena utapata ingine and the same things. So tunasema sasa tuende blended financing, innovative financing. We have to open that space. I know we have been working with the cooperative bank for quite some time and other banks, lakini tuangalie hiyo highway. Watu vijiji ndogo wanasema hatuna maji hapa. Don't tell them to wait for the next 5 years. Look at your cash flows, sit down as a board na museme hii kijiji tunachukua 30 million na watu, they will be happy and they will pay. And then the following year you move to another village. Please, that is a very potential source of another source of revenue. Na tunasema the decision ya hiyo haiko parliament, hata haiko pengine iko at county government na sisi as you sit down as a board. That is our own decision. It is not even with the development partners. It is with us. So can we do what we are supposed to do on our own? When we meet the parliamentarians, we are also telling them, weka pressure, maji ipate pesa mingi. When we meet the donors, kama sasa mkutano imeisha kule New York, wale wameenda ile United Nations Conference, pia wanaambia the donors there, nafikiria tumejipanga mzuri, you can now come back home, give us money. That is what the minister is doing around there. So all of us have to play our role, and if we play our role, our 2030 target, we shall hit those targets. Now, I think I was explaining about this. Hii ndio ile shimo iko. We need about 1.7 trillion. Again to my students. If we have to reach 2030 coverage, kila mtu apate maji. Now, we have to invest 1.7 trillion. But where is that money going to come from? It is not enough to say is 1.7 trillion. You have to have some idea. Itatoka wapi? And we are saying government has committed about 565 billion. And then donors will also give a similar amount, 500, to pay through what we are committing ourselves another about 370 billion. Despite doing, kuna shimu hapo ya 500. This one here. And the elephant in the room. And probably that is why a manager cooperative is here. Because to her, that is an opportunity for investment. Yeye anaangalia hii. Hapa tasaidia sana. But before she can release money for that, there are some certain conditions which we also need to do. At policy level, we have been guided. I'll give you 30 seconds, that slide. We have been guided. Because we have to accept we're in a new administration, and we have been guided on how do we fill in Iogamba 500. To actualize the enabling infrastructure, ndio kila mtu apate maji, we intend to take the following measures. This was his executive speech. A public-private partnership funding framework is envisaged for large capital projects in order to achieve our target of raising water from the current 60, wanafundi nisema 60, and then the filling the whole of 500 billion, and then the government can provide basically, but it will take time. It may take 10 years, it may take 20 years. Lakini tunataka maji sasa hivi. Now, what does that mean? Sasa ndio umeanza kusikia mambo ya water purchase agreement. I think I'll give a summary of that. Water purchase agreement ni mambo ya private sector participation, sio privatization. Privatization is very different from public sector participation. It is for you to identify a big project here, come hapa, then let somebody bring in his own money, use his own money, build it, finance it, and then eventually transfer it after some time, after recouping their money. It is working in the other sector, but in the water sector, we want to go that way. Of course, there are conditions, but the regulator is in between. We are changing our PPP laws, regulations, to ensure everything works well. So at the moment, this is now the talk of the town hapa mambo ya maji. Private sector participation, and the government has identified over 100 dams all over. Nafikiria mnasikia hii maneno, it's along this line. But is it just going to happen that easily? Good. I can see my friend saying no. Why are you saying no? Just talk even without the microphone. Gray area. Okay. Very good. Let me ask, I think I saw a number of staff wa Tavevo. Just raise up your hand. Just briefly. Now, the Tavevo staff, if tomorrow Tavevo to be shortlisted in the stock exchange, si kuna zile kampuni ziko huko, Safaricom na baki na nini? Staff of Tavevo, would you buy shares in your company? Tuongee maneno ndio tujue pale shida iko, Okay, tuanze na manager cooperative, show us the way. Would you buy shares in the cooperative bank? Yes, he's saying yes. Now, can I see similar confidence from Tavevo? Unaona sasa? Maybe that is the beginning of the problem, So, we have to build Tavevo to be able to buy shares in our company. Sisi watu wa Tavevo tuweze kununua shares kwa hiyo kampuni kienda stock exchange, we need some reforms. And the first reform we need, because that is basically money that is being lost. And ask out why. Here I like to give an example. At one time, I've also been an MD of a utility at South Africa where I used to work. And when I came there, we were losing about 70%. And that was money. So one day I walked in the morning and sent everybody away, go to the field, wherever you are, even the drivers. Go and find out what is happening. And they came with a lot of illegal connections, somebody was doing irrigation. And in those days, the revenue rose without doing anything. Kukasirika tu naambia watu endeni nje. We were collecting 1.8 million, ilitoka 1.8 million close to 5 million. That's the way you come back to office and then go and find out where this water is being lost. Today, that company is collecting 25 million a month. Again, that's the role of the board and the staff to be able to sort out that. So we need to operating efficiency is clear. Then investment efficiency. And I like to emphasize this, investment efficiency. Kama tunafanya mradi wa shilingi milioni 100, lazima ukuwe ni wa shilingi milioni 100. Hapa kuwa na shida. You are this project costed 1 billion. Ukiangalia, unaona we are being truthful to ourselves. You see? And When it comes to investment efficiency, you know, I hear our politicians talking. I think somebody who can help us change the language. Siku hizi tumetoka from talking about money. Before the new constitution, ndio tulikuwa nasema serikali mwaka huu itapeana shilingi bilioni 1 Taita Taveta, mnasikia Teri Mesheni kutoka KBC za usambazaji wa maji katika Taita Taveta 1 billion. Hiyo language haikubaliki under the new law. Our new law katika taarifa ya habari mtangazaji should be that mwaka huu the government will ensure watu 100,000 wamepata maji. You are now talking about the subject matter. Tuambie the people, the household, wacha kusema pesa. Pesa utaambia 1 billion lakini ukiangalia unakuta ni watu 20 ndio walipata hiyo maji. So that should be the language now. How many households are going to access? Yeah. So we need what we call investment efficiency, and then finally, and that's why we are here, we need tariff reform. Tariff reform. Kuna makampuni mpaka leo Kenya hii inatumia tariff ya 209 na wamekatalia pale. Na wana shida mingi sana in those companies. And I even sympathize with their staff. Their staff are poorly paid, but they have stuck there. That is not going to help them. And the people are just complaining. So we need to be bold and know that things have changed. And if we increase tariff, then we expect to see improvement of operating efficiency and investment efficiency. I think this is a summary what the government needs to do. Government has a responsibility to respect what's happening, to protect and fulfill the right to water. That's why you find sometimes the kuna shida, what is national government doing, and the county government. National government still has a responsibility for that. But I want to emphasize on this one here. I'll take about 2 minutes as I finish. Some good things have happened in the Kenyan water sector. By the way, if I look at this region in Africa, many countries come to benchmark in Kenya. As much as we have many problems, many are still coming here to benchmark. But we need to improve on a good governance. The second thing I want to emphasize is ring fencing of revenue. Pesa yote ya maji lazima irudi kwa maji till everybody will get water. It is there in our act. Until Dr. Agri napata maji 24/7, there's water all the time. Any extra shilling coming to the company must go towards water. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, like 3 years ago, we were doing what we call peer review of water service provision in Lesotho. I think they call it Eswatini these days. Hii ni project Kibaki alianzisha where another country inakuja naangalia mnafanya namna gani. Sasa mimi nikakuwa kati wale walienda kuassess kule. They have one large water company for the whole country. When I went there, the MD was very excited. The chairman. Walisema hapa sisi tunafanya, we are doing very well. We are doing very well. But we could see there are gaps. Not everybody has water. Then they told us, hata kama mngekuja last Friday, we were celebrating our Jamhuri Day yao ya huko. Na hiyo Jamhuri Day, it is this company inaitwa Wasco or something. Hii kampuni ndio ni sponsor. Hiyo. That was very shocking. But then the then Minister of Water did not like it. He knew about the reforms. He didn't like it. So he told us, when we do the report, because I'm being open to you, nyinyi kuna ile mtapea serikali hawa watu wa kampuni, lakini nyinyi when you are briefing now the minister tukitoka pale, tafadhali munitumie directly na tukampea nini. Akatupea email. Alisema hii mtapeana pande hii yenye itafika kwa ofisi yangu haitakuwa namna hiyo. Itakuwa imekarabatiwa. So we did that. He was a good minister. But I think the company must have been very strong, because when we sent the report, I think within 2 months the minister was taken to another ministry. Na hiyo maneno ikakwisha. So those are some of the dynamics that we need to deal with, governance issues. They really don't help us. So what I'm basically emphasizing is that every shilling in water must go back to water. But we are not telling the company, don't do CSR, corporate social responsibility. Panda miti, saidia shule. These are your customers, and show them you are a part of them. Yeah. Then the other one here now, leveraging revenue to access alternative financing. Ile pesa munapata, if you have positive cash flow, as a board, chairman, take advantage of it. Go and borrow 10 million. 10 million itajenga a new borehole, and you will have done it as a company. And I'm sure 10 million, the company can be able to repay. It is not outside. Then once you do that, then you can move to the next activity. You want to asema leveraging on your cash flow. And then this one again, I decided to mention it here because we have this challenge in Taita Taveta, rural water. There's a very big challenge, and what you need, county government, if you're here, you just need to separate this. An urban water company and another one taking care of the county. I mean the rural area. And the best example you can borrow from Nakuru, where they have two cities, Naivasha and Nakuru, they have two urban companies, and then the rest there is Nakuru rural. Why? Is if you don't formalize the rural area, munawanyima pesa na munawanyima subsidy. And it is good to be ahead. If you look at what's happening at New York, the World Bank has committed $100 million that's specifically going to the rural area. Now, I want to ask, when the Nokia Taita Taveta, which utility? Now, ukiangalia those conditions, wamesema, that money is going to be disbursed for rural water companies that have been established as per WASREP guidelines on water service provision in the rural area. You have in the past also seen from trust fund when they advertise for support. One of the conditions nasemanga kampuni ndio upate hiyo pesa, you need to get a license, ndio. So these rural things are not licensed. So that's how we are disadvantaging our people. And let me even talk about another one. When the COVID came, we put aside like 3 billion. Ulipata pesa? Ndi. Ya COVID. Did you get some money? Sema watu wasikie, ndio. Unajua ukinyamaza unaona kama ulipata mamilioni ngapi? Sema tu.
We first got 47 to 47 to 22 million.
How much did that money go to rural area?